Yo, welcome back at another review. In this video we'll go over 3 people. The first one is Countyzero, so we start at 0. His question was kind of a surprise to me, because he asked what should I use for beating Giants B7. I was like, wait, you're Conqueror, why would you need to know that? You know exactly what you need to use for that. But I was checking his units, and he does not have a cases, and I was, wait, that was half air, so I don't know what you did when the half airs went, but you did not get one, and that's kind of annoying because that is it's such a good unit. But I will check what you could do. B7 is not too hard, so you definitely need to take your aim on with you, that's 100% sure. Chloe is also 100% sure. But what next? Basically, he does a lot of continuous damage dots. You could get Chloe to make sure that you don't get too often. You don't get too many of those dots. And let me see. You have the healers now. You want something to. I think you need to take Lucian with you, because your Lucian is really strong, and he will just fly through all the what's it called? He will fly through all the stages before this. So that's the one that you want to take with you. Also, I think Megan is one of the candidates you need to take with you. Reason for that is because she has the buff for defense, so you will take less damage, and she has the continuous damage and also a beneficial block. So we got, let me check, Lucian, Chloe, Megan, Amon, and then we kind of want to reduce the damage of the boss. So we want a attack decrease most likely. The glancing hit from your Shimity could maybe work as well, but I think your Shimity is not ruined for the. Oh, she has a decent amount of accuracy. What do Lure have? Nothing special, right? Nah. This defense break is not necessary. Decrease defense. Come on, what is good? This does, the fire element does decrease the. Well, you got a Griffin. Should that be a good thing to use? Let me just think. Currently do not. Okay. Currently, what I'm looking at is either make your Chloe leader, but I think if you just want to beat B7, go for Lucian as leader. Have more damage than Lucian, Chloe, Megan, and Amon together. And I think if you go with like Yosemite, you might already be able to win the match. But later on, I would definitely advise you to use your Wind Griffin because of his body slam. This way you can make sure that the giant will attack a lot less harder. And also, yes, you give your team speed, which will help you get through it. Well, I must say it's not ideal, this setup, because it's not really gonna cut B9 or B10. I think you could maybe do B8. I'm not 100% sure what the B8 hull is, like which element. I think wind, right? Yeah, wind. You might be able to do wind with this team. But if you need like something that could help you out with like heals, you could still farm for the wind jetty, and then you could replace your Shimate for the wind jetty. Yes, you will have less damage, but you'll survive longer, which will make your team more reliable. Your damage basically comes from your Megan because of the continuous damage dots. I also saw that, where did I see that? Lure does continuous damage dots, so he might be some, right? Or did I misread that? Inflicts? Oh, no, sorry, I misread that. I am sorry, that was not what I said. The lizard man does, but then you should go for the wind one. So yeah, I would definitely. You could also go with a wind team, where you use the wind yeti, Lucian, Shannon, Bernard, and then since you do not have the cases, it's gonna be a case is kinda that makes a team or breaks a team, and it's kinda unmissable. I think if you wanna go for giants, you'll be sitting at B7, B8 farming on auto mode, and then I think I'll go with Chloe, Lucian as leader by the way, Chloe, Shimity, Megan, and Amon. And if you want some better or more heals, because it's hard to get to sustain the boss damage, like if that is really hard, then you could switch Shimati out and get the Wind Jetty, for example, and you could definitely use Bernard instead of Shimati as well to reduce the damage on the boss. So that's what I would suggest for you to do. It's I'm surprised you don't have a cases, man. How did that happen? I would think a lot like almost anyone would jump on the half heroes or cases, but I'm guessing you were gone or something. But still, man, you can definitely beat B7. You can definitely beat B8, B9 probably. But well, B9 needs some more damage dealers on another element. But B8 is definitely a possibility for you to do. So yeah, that was it, man. Hope I helped you, because it's kinda hard for me. But yeah, just try to get those debuffs on the boss, because that's when you survive. Like, you need enough healing power, and you need a glancing hit and an attack decrease on the boss, and then you can probably beat the boss because you won't die on it. That's basically the strategy. So I'll be right back with the next review. By the way, Countyzero, if you have something to ask me, let me know, either in the comments or on Raycall or in the guild chat. Whenever you can get in touch with me, just ask. Yo, what's up? Back at glalan11. glalan11. His question was, I don't know why I cannot progress in arena, even though I've been upgrading my units. Could you help me with the synergy of my team? It would help if you actually told me what you're using right now, but I'll check it out. We got Tyron, Megan. Tyron and Megan are a nice combination. But what I do see is that you don't have anything to follow up on Tyron and Megan. Normally, when you want to follow up Tyron and Megan, you want to have some big AoE or some heavy damage units, and I don't see many. Like, the Grim Reaper could be a damage unit, but I would not like to put him. Like, he's not the greatest, and he's definitely not gonna make the cut. So I'm kinda like not onto that plan. Basically, your damage on your units for PvP is just not great. Most of these units are not capable of killing anything right now. Like, I'm not saying you have bad units, but like, your WoW is not really amazing for PvP. He's usable, he's usable, but he's not good enough, in my opinion. He's just not gonna make a cut. At least not at 5 stars, that's for sure, and I wouldn't say at 6 stars either. Ramagos, you didn't run him at the moment. He could be very useful for you. To be honest, if I look at your units that I see here, I would actually make a tanky team here instead of going for the offensive route, because you do have some nice units that are pretty heavy on defense. And I think what I would do if I were you is use Remigos in your offense, plus use Darian and Remigos then still go with the leader being Tyrone, because he will be useful with the stuns and stuff. What else? Let me think. Darian, you need something to provide you with some kind of sustain. I think you do need a healer or of some sort. Oh, the light Inagami. That could be good. Nah, well, it's a Darian plus the light Inagami is a very strong combination. The only problem I have with that is that, well, I could also think of. Wait a second. Darian, light Inagami, copper, and light Inagami copper, and Tyrone. Is that something? Tyrone is lead. Belladon, copper, and Darian. That could. Okay, that could work. Okay, here's the deal. I kind of need to have a leader skill for you. Tyrone is great, but the problem is Copper is. He needs to be 6-star before he becomes great. That's annoying. And since you do not, I don't see that being the best way to go. I definitely think Darian and Belladon are one of the best units you could use right here. So Belladon and Darian together will be great, but they will be awesome with Remigos, because Remigos will provide you with a high kill attack, like clean shot, and you will have, well, all the units are pretty defensive, so that's really pretty good. You can survive most of the hits, and then when it's your turn, you can clean shot with your Remigos, take down one of their units, and then Belladon can heal up. Also, Belladon could heal, but also give debuff someone, and Darian is there. It could also decrease the armor, which makes it easier to kill one unit. So the problem is then, like, what will you do as leader, right? Tyrone, Remigos, Darian, and Light Inagami. I'm not 100% sure if that is going to be great. Maybe. That could work. Okay, maybe. What do you think about this? Tyrone, Darian, Awa, and either Amon or the Light Inagami. Because the reason why I say this is because Awa is a pretty hard hitting unit, and with a defense break from Darian, you will cut through kinda anyone, and also he will provide you with a big chance that they won't get an attack in, because they get slowed and they get the attack bar decreased, so then you could take out units one by one. But this will make your Wa and your Tyrant need to be a bit beefy in order to pull this off. So probably some of the substats need to be like HP %. I think you can pull that off. I think that might actually be a good idea. So Tyrant, Awa, Darian, and the Light Inagami or Amon. I'm not 100% sure. I think the Light Inagami is a bit better, a bit more like overall. So I think the Light Inagami is better overall, because he can also debuff, and he has also a chance of defense break. So I think if I were you, I would go with Tyrant, Awa, Belladon, and Darian. and you could definitely think of using your Remigos on offense. There's also you have quite a lot of options, but like also I could see Tyrone, Megan, Copper, and Darien, for example. That could also work because Darien gives the defense break, and you will get buffs, but you will be very single target with this team as well. It's not a bad thing. It's just that it happens, and then your Copper needs to have some decent resist, but he does have pretty decent resist from himself. You have quite a lot of options, and I don't know what you use on offense, but I definitely think Tyrone plus Megan are a good combo already. But some like you could sacrifice your Megan for having a strong defensive units, so you don't have to go first if you like. You don't need to go first per se, as long as you are really tanky and can heal up pretty fast. That's really what you want to have then. And there it will make you quite a lot more tankier, and Lightning Army or Amon will provide you with a lot of heals. Well, I must say you're in a tough spot because it's you need to go for a tanky team because your offense is not looking great. Like you don't have a amazing offensive unit. I mean, yes, the Shimite is a very strong offensive unit. Yes, Rogue and the Fire could be very good, but they're not the greatest, and I think you could better go the defensive route. I'm hoping that this was useful for you. Just a quick read on the runes. I would make him violent in energy like you are doing, and I would make this guy swift focus. If you do not have the violent runes, you could also do violent focus, but swift focus is also good. If you make him fast enough that he could go first, you could even use mobilize to go first, and that actually might not be a bad idea. Besides, it's just a 4 turn. Well, that's quite long. Besides, that is only if you need to get rid of something. But I think you should go the defense route. I mean, you have Copper, you have Gramagos that are very strong. You have Aemon that could be very useful. Darien, Lightning Gami, all really defense units. You could even use Michelle to get a res into the team. Then go like Michelle, Darien, Lightning Gami plus a leader skill, like still Tyrone, I guess. I think that should be your leader because that's your best unit. Yeah, I hope this was useful, man. I must say it's a bit annoying, but I definitely would say go for the defensive units, and that is actually the best offense because that will make your defense really strong as well. So if you can pull that off, that is actually really good. But I think your progression in arena is because you want to go with offensive units, and your offensive units are not gonna do it. They're just not good enough. And I just think you need to get some of the units up and running before, like your living armor is already decent, but he's 5-star, which is like at 5-star is like okay. But I think if you get your Darien and Lightning Armor running, you have a better chance. And try to use a defensive setup. And I think you should run up Remigos again and take him on your offense. You have to play around with these setups that I just told you because it's a bit tricky, and definitely you need to run up some of the monsters and get them to 5 stars at least before you can use them. So yeah, I'll be right back with the other review. Galan, if there's any questions, leave a comment below. Yo, back for the third review of this video and the last one. It's FTakara, and his question was, what monster should I focus on for arena? And the second question was, what monster should I 6-star next? So let's check it out. He has an Archangel, the water one, so really good unit, really awesome actually. I would definitely suggest you using this in arena, because yeah, he's just great unit, great healing powers and all that. I also see that you have an water dragon. I don't think he's gonna fit in the team. I mean, you have a Chloe as well. Okay, here's what I thought of. My team would be something like this: Archangel, Jojo, Chloe plus Arya, and then I would make her your leader. Why do I say this? Is because Arya has a skill, AoE skill, that has a good chance of landing a glancing hit, reducing their speed, which will make their team quite like, well, hit like sissies on a team like you have. Jojo's pretty defensive, your water Archangel is pretty defensive, Chloe is normally pretty defensive, and Arya, you need to make her pretty defensive. Of course you need to have attack on her, but you want to have the spare focus. You have the focus runes, I see, and then you want to have like all attack around pretty much, but you want some substats on HP. So she's like above 13k health at least. That was an idea that I had, but you have quite a lot of options. Jojo is also not always the best option, because if they have a Chloe of their own, it's gonna be a bad monster to use. But I see you have an Ardella. She could be a great one-shot monster. You could try to use like Chloe together with your Ardella in order to make sure that she survives, and you could take down one of their high damage units, like their Lucian, for example. One thing that I note up, that your Chloe is not runed correctly. High health but no speed at all, and you have a 6-star speed rune, so I would suggest trying to get this up to like plus 15, and I would suggest to get swift runes. I would make swift runes slot 1, 3, 4. I would, yeah, 4 and 5. I would make these remove these and put swift set on that, because this has a 5% speed as substat, which is really good, and the 20% extra is really good, but not for Chloe. Chloe doesn't need it. So and if you put swift on here with substat speed on the runes, just like this one, and upgrade this, you will have a very fast Chloe, and you will actually take the turn first and make everyone immune, and then you go. So yeah, that's definitely something I would do if I were you. I would actually sacrifice your Megan for that use as well. I would take this rune as well, at least, because that's 10 speed. It's really good. This rune is also pretty okay, and the defense will really benefit your Chloe. I would sacrifice your Megan swift runes to put on Chloe. Actually, I would just, except maybe for this one, you might want to try to find the 4-slot rune for your Chloe instead of the 6-slot rune. So that will be a lot better than what you have now. So switch out the 1, 3 and 4-slot rune to Chloe. Find another 6-slot rune with HP percent, and wait a second. Do I find another 4-slot rune for Chloe with substat speed on it, and swift. Then your Chloe will be usable and will be really good for arena. So I think you would make Chloe. That's this. If you make your Chloe fast, Chloe plus Adela, plus maybe Seek, because Seek is a pretty good offensive unit. You could use him as well. Okay, there's two ways to go. Like, you have a pretty good offense team, but also a pretty good defense team. So it's kind of the question, what do you want to go? Like Siege, if you make him with decent amount of speed and high attack, he could be very useful for you. So you could, well, you actually don't need to speed that badly, because you have Chloe being fast if you switch the runes out from Megan. Then you could do something like Chloe, Sieg, Adela, and depending on the enemy you could add your Archangel, or you could add your Jojo, or you could add your Rogue. But the Chloe is definitely going to be your main unit. It's one of the best units for Arena, definitely. So I would suggest make him your fastest units as fast as you can. You got some good runes on Megan, and get those. I mean, Megan is great and all, but you don't need Megan necessarily, but you do need Chloe. And I think taking Seek with you will give you a little bit more damage, because basically what is going to happen, you have to take the first turn with your Chloe. I know you don't have a speed leader right now, but that should not be the problem, because if you rune her correctly and you make this a plus 15 rune, you probably outspeed a lot of people. And then you would shield up, then Ardella could, or sorry, then C could buff up. Now you will have a high crit, high attack power. Ardella will one-shot one of the units, and then you could, depending what they have, you could take your Jojo, for example. You could put some bombs on, and then when they attack, they already have lost one unit that is their main damage dealer, and the second one won't do as much. You could also put in the Rogue instead. Rogue could maybe even, that's actually better. Yeah, Chloe, let's do that. Chloe, Seek, Adela, and Rogue, because Rogue could team up with Chloe with Adela, which might result in 2 kill shots. And that's the offense way. That's the offensive take on the game, and I think that's the best for you actually. You could also go defense. Then you could take Chloe. Still needs to be a super fast unit. Take the Archangel. Depending on the enemy, you could take Jojo or Rogue, and you could take Arya. Arya is there for the control. So let me see: Chloe, Arya, Archangel. Chloe, Arya. I would in most situations Jojo is going to be the best. If they have an opposite Chloe, it's going to be a bit annoying, but you could still then out last time. Like you make here Arya your leader, getting 33% health on all your units. You take your Chloe with you, will provide you with a safety. If they have a Chloe, still Jojo could be working out, because basically what you do is let them use their fanatic. Then you use your fanatic, or you use him, and then he does. And then as soon as the immunity is gone, you put on the bombs, and then you could do the AoE from the area, from the light succubus, which will result in some stuns. If you rune them with despair, they're all slowed, which basically means you could take over the game. And she also has the HP recovery debuff, which is very useful, and also your Jojo has that, so that's really good. That is the defensive team, and I like that team quite a lot, but I think your offense team is better. So that's what I would do, and then I would definitely focus on your Chloe, and I would also focus on your Arya. If I would say what should you 6-star next, I would go for Arya. It's a hard name to pronounce, god damn it. I would go for her, because she's just really useful, and she's gonna have the best leader skill for you. Yeah, the water dragon is not, I don't see him fit in anywhere right now. In your monsters, that is. I hope that helped. Let me know if you want to know something else on what I just said, like if you want to know why I choose. I mean, I tried to explain it, but you might be you might not understand it or whatever. But yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think about the review, if you think it was useful or not, and then I'll end this one. as well, and then I hope you got something good out of it. Okay, see you guys later. Ciao.